The Mask of Lost Souls, Chapter 1. The Mysterious Invitation. Clara, a 27-year-old woman, led an ordinary life in a town where the extraordinary seemed non-existent. Her days flowed slowly, marked by a monotonous office job and evenings spent dreaming of adventures she never experienced. So, when a golden envelope was slipped under her door, she didn't expect her fate to take such a sudden turn. The letter was sealed with red wax, adorned with a mysterious symbol she didn't recognize. Curious, she carefully opened the envelope and read, "You are invited to the DeLacroix masked ball. This annual ball, reputed to be the grandest in the region, is also shrouded in mysteries that few dare to mention. Join us for an evening of enchantment. Leave your mask at the door, and beware of the wandering souls." Clara frowned. She had heard of the DeLacroix family. Their estate, hidden in the mountains, was both a symbol of luxury and fear. Many legends surrounded their lavish receptions, and though many had been invited, not all had returned unchanged. A persistent rumor lingered. Some guests never left the ball, becoming lost souls themselves, trapped in the manor's endless cycle of mystery. It was ridiculous, of course. Clara shrugged, thinking this invitation might be her one chance to break the monotony of her life. After all, she had nothing to lose. Chapter 2. The Ball of Mysteries. On the night of the ball, Clara dressed carefully, donning an elegant black dress that hugged her figure gracefully. She styled her hair in a simple yet refined bun and wore a golden mask adorned with black feathers. Her heart pounding, she climbed into the car she had reserved and set off for the DeLacroix manor. As she approached, the landscape became wilder, more foreboding. Twisted trees seemed to watch her passage with curiosity, and a thick mist covered the road. Finally, the imposing gates of the estate loomed before her. A valet welcomed her, taking her coat and guiding her to the main entrance. Inside, a strange atmosphere prevailed. The ballroom was sumptuous, lit by crystal chandeliers and decorated with gilded mirrors reflecting the masked guests dancing with supernatural elegance. Sparkling masks, melodic laughter, everything seemed perfect, almost too perfect. Suddenly, a woman of ethereal beauty approached Clara. She wore a dazzling white gown and a mask adorned with shining jewels. Her eyes, though hidden behind the mask, seemed to pierce Clara's soul. "Welcome, Clara," she said in a soft yet commanding voice. "I am Amelia DeLacroix, the hostess of this evening. You have been chosen." Clara swallowed, disturbed by how this woman knew her name. "Chosen for what?" she asked. Amelia smiled mysteriously. "That you will discover in due time." Chapter 3. The Mask of Lost Souls. As the night wore on, Clara couldn't shake an oppressive feeling. The ball, though magnificent, seemed filled with a palpable tension. The gazes of the other guests were too intense, their movements too fluid, almost unreal. She moved to a buffet to steady herself when an old woman, wrinkled and dressed in rags, approached her. Unlike the others, she wore no mask. "Be careful," she whispered. "Do not let the mask take your soul." Clara frowned. "Excuse me?" "The mask you wear. It is not just a disguise. It is the mask of lost souls. Those who wear it are doomed to be lost in this manor forever." Before Clara could react, the old woman vanished into the crowd. Troubled, Clara touched her mask, a chill running down her spine. Was this a joke? Or was there something darker behind this glamorous party? She decided to leave the main hall to explore the manor. Her steps led her down a long, dimly lit corridor adorned with ancient portraits of the DeLacroix family members. A strange sense of déjà vu washed over her, as if she had seen these faces somewhere before, or perhaps even lived here in another life. As she continued walking, she heard whispers behind her. Turning abruptly, she saw no one. Yet a shadow moved at the edge of her vision. Clara quickened her pace, her heart beating faster and faster. Chapter 4. The Trapped Souls. Clara reached a large wooden door at the end of the corridor. Cautiously opening it, she entered a dark room, dimly lit by a flickering fire in a grand hearth. In the center of the room stood a tall, slender man dressed in an old-fashioned suit. His face, pale and stern, was hidden behind a silver mask. "Welcome, Clara," he said in a deep voice. "I am Léon Delacroix. You have accepted your fate by entering this house." Clara took a step back. "What fate? What does all this mean?" Léon looked at her intently. "The ball is not what it seems. Those who wear a certain mask, like yours, are chosen, destined to become the manor's guardians for eternity. The souls of those who were trapped before you still wander these halls." Clara felt her breath catch. "No, this can't be true. There must be a way out." Léon shook his head. "There is only one way out. You must face the master of the manor, the one who controls the lost souls. If you succeed, you may leave. If not, your soul will be forever chained to this place." Chapter 5. The Final Trial. Determined not to give in to fear, Clara accepted the challenge. Léon pointed to a secret passage behind a tapestry leading to an underground crypt. She descended the stone steps slowly, each step echoing like thunder in the oppressive silence. The crypt was vast, filled with stone coffins and ancient inscriptions. At the center stood a throne of black marble, and on that throne sat a hooded figure surrounded by an aura of darkness. "I have been waiting for you," a guttural voice whispered. "You have a choice, Clara. Surrender your soul or fight for your freedom." Clara knew there was no escape. She braced herself with courage, stepping forward toward the dark figure. The air around her grew heavier, each step harder than the last, as if an invisible force was trying to stop her. The Master of Souls suddenly rose, extending a skeletal hand toward her. A wave of cold swept over her, but she remembered Léon's words. The only way to defeat this evil was to face it without fear. In a final act of bravery, Clara tore off her mask and threw it to the ground, breaking the bond that held her. A bright light burst from the crypt, blinding the Master of Souls. With a piercing scream, he dissipated, freeing the trapped souls. Chapter 6. Freedom regained, Clara awoke, lying on the ballroom floor, surrounded by guests. All seemed confused, not understanding what had just happened. The manor felt different, less oppressive, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. Amélie Delacroix approached her, unmasked this time with a sincere look. "You have succeeded. You have freed the manor from its curse." Clara, exhausted but relieved, sat up. "And now?" Amelia smiled sadly. "You can leave. But always remember that the mask of lost souls chooses its wearer, and you, Clara, have proven that you are stronger than it." Clara left the manor at dawn, her heart light. She knew her life would never be the same, but this adventure had changed her forever.